Hi, this is Harley from WeLoveMetal.com, and I'm on Skype today with Mike Stancel of Colorado's own Allegaeon. The band's...
How's it going?
Hey, how are you?
Good.
All right. Your latest album, Elements of the Infinite, is coming out on Metal Blade, and I'm going to call it, even though I just watched your video yesterday for 1.618, I'm going to categorize it as a melodic death metal album. But I wanted to thank you for taking the time today to talk about the band and your album.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, I've been listening to Elements of the Infinite for the last couple of weeks, and that's coming from someone who's typically more into less of a death metal sound, and I'm frankly really digging it. But I'll assume the band is happy with how the album came out.
So what was that?
I'll assume that the band is happy with how the album came out.
Yeah. Yeah. We're all pretty satisfied with it.
I noticed there seemed to be some more orchestral elements than maybe on your previous works, especially on Form Shifter. What kind of drove that change for you guys?
Well, all the albums before this, Fragments and Form Shifter, did have orchestra stuff, but it was kind of buried in the mix to just add some kind of density to the songs. I think what decided us to make it a little bit more prevalent is working with composer Joe Ferris.
Okay.
Because he was writing stuff. He was just writing stuff that was so awesome. I was like, we can't hide this. So, so I think that's mostly where it's like just working with Joe and him being too good to have it be hidden.
Yeah. What's he normally do? I mean, I'll assume he doesn't work with metal bands a lot.
I'm not entirely sure. I know he worked with Greg's other band for one of their albums.
Mm-hmm.
I think he does work with some metal bands, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
Okay. Yeah, it kind of came across as almost movie score kind of elements there.
Yeah, like I think when we were tracking, we got a text from him and we were laughing that, or he was laughing that he was watching like Harry Potter or something, and because he just uses all MIDI samples. Okay. And he heard one of the samples they had in Harry Potter, so he was all happy about it.
Wow. Okay. I didn't think that would be influenced by you guys. I know that your lyrics are typically science fiction kind of based.
Yeah.
And really kind of neat subject matter. I was going through the tracks, and of course, I mentioned the video for 1.618, and I was like, that number is familiar. And I do some photography, and it turns out that's the golden ratio. So, what influenced that one?
Let's see. Ezra came up with the idea for that because he wanted just to write a song about it. And pretty much he was, he liked the fact that it's just seen everywhere, like in nature,
sure,
art, architecture, and music too. And so he really wanted to write a song about it, and then Greg took that idea and kind of turned it into this whole meta thing. He's like, okay, I'm gonna write a riff that's 1.618, and he knows how to explain it to where it makes sense, but all I know is like the first riff in the song corresponds to it.
Okay. That's probably on a higher level than most metalheads think really about their music. That's very cool.
Yeah, I know when I write a song, I'm just like, this riff sounds cool.
It sounds okay, yeah. So, There are a lot of really standout tracks, I think. Not that there seems to be any filler on the album, but just a few that stood out for me were that one, the last track, Genocide for Praise, the opener, Threshold of Perception. But if I had to pick one song, it would be Biomech 2 as my favorite.
Awesome.
What are your recollections of recording that, writing it? Just kind of interested in specific songs sometimes.
That's one that Greg wrote, so I don't know for writing. But I know that it's a continuation of Biomech from the first album, and
Right.
so live what we do is it seamlessly transitions from Biomech 1 to Biomech 2.
Okay.
I think for writing it was that, and some of the riffs from Biomech 1, they're not exactly like the main riffs, so are brought back.
Right.
So, and that, and it, lyrically, it's also kind of a continuation of the ideas that Biomech 1 had.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to go back and kind of pair those two up and play one right after the other
Yeah.
to check that out. All right. Hey, if I can, I'd like to ask some maybe more personal questions. I'm not going to get too personal, but let me ask, what musical situation do you enjoy the most? Playing live, recording, writing music? What's it that really grabs you and makes you want to do this?
I think the thing that keeps me wanting to do this is playing live.
Uh-huh.
Except for it also makes me want to give up all the time, just because if I play poorly. And I know there's a whole disconnect between, because I've seen great bands who never miss a note, and then they'll be like, no, I messed up a bunch, but so I know it's never really heard.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I think playing live is what really keeps it going.
Yeah.
It's just studio I'm stressed and then writing I get stressed too.
Okay. Yeah, I think that seems to be the answer from most musicians. It really
you also get to kind of release
Yep.
some energy or something. The other day I played a show with my other band, and the day before it was an awful day at work and stuff. So it was just nice to be able to go do that, and then all the anger I had from yesterday is gone now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool. I always ask this of musicians. Really, it's several questions. First is, do you have any formal music training?
Not so much formal. I took jazz lessons for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about going to school for music. But what I kind of noticed is that it kind of turns it would change it from just being a fun release that I have to actually being something that causes me more stress than relieving it.
Okay.
That's what I kind of noticed with a bunch. A couple of friends went to school for music and then they got kind of burnt out because it became this whole new stress instead of being fun.
Enjoyable, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's understandable, I guess. Are you able to make your living in the music industry, whether playing or working some other aspect of the industry?
No.
No?
No, I work at a pizza place.
Okay. They're in Fort Collins?
No, I live in a town that's 45 minutes south of Fort Collins.
Okay.
But yeah, nowadays in the music industry, or at least in what I've seen in metal, you don't make money.
Yeah, oh, sure.
like even big bands, they still have other jobs that they go to when they come back. Which it sucks because it makes it a lot harder. But for some reason, I feel like it might be good because then there's not those people who are in the genre just to make money.
Sure.
Because there is no money. So.
No money to be made. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've talked to guys before that, I don't know, they worked like at an instrument store, like, you know, things like that. So kind of carried it over into the music making part of it. Okay. Hey, you guys are in Colorado, one of my favorite states. Love the Rockies. Not the baseball team necessarily, but the Rocky Mountains. What do you get out and do there? What are your hobbies outside of music?
I don't really have many. Like, that's pretty much all that I do.
Uh-huh.
Just because I don't play video games. I don't really watch TV. I just come home and noodle on the guitar. But I guess during the summer I do go hiking, but not like anything that strenuous. It's mostly just walking around up in the mountains.
Right. Okay. Well, that's always a nice release of that stress anyway. So yeah, that's cool. What's your family think about you being in a heavy metal band?
They're fine. They're supportive.
Uh-huh.
They're happy that it's not like that I'm in a band that doesn't just talk about killing people or death and stuff. It's like, oh, it's just science. Like my, back when I was originally just a fill-in, like I showed my dad the CD and I looked up the lyrics. It's like, oh yeah, you guys have stuff about, or they have stuff about science. This is cool. So, him being like a geologist and kind of, science, having a background in science, he appreciated it more.
Cool.
Just death.
Yeah. No, that's good. I suppose being in a more intelligently based lyric kind of band, that would help. So
yeah.
Now you've been in the band for what, a year or two?
No, just about I think 6 months.
Oh, okay.
They asked me in. Actually, no, more than 6 months, because they asked me in September.
Okay.
To join full time.
All right.
So
how'd that come about? How did that come about?
So last year, around May, I think it was, I got a call from Greg, saying that they got a tour, but Ryan, the old guitar player, wasn't able to make it. And he was just kind of asking a bunch of like the local guitar player guys that like I had played with Allegaeon before in my other band. They could play a show together. So like we knew each other. And I guess I didn't know that at the time, but I guess it was like one of the only guitar players that he asked that said like maybe. It's just funny because the other guitar players he asked are way better than me. And said no, that they couldn't play it, and I was like, let me go see. So, yeah, and then we did a tour in that August with Wretched, Abiotic, and Rivers of Nile. Mm-hmm. And I guess they liked me. So then, in September, they had asked me, and they showed up at my house. Greg was in a tux and had a rose, a bachelor.
So he proposed.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's awesome. Oh, man. Okay. So speaking of tours, last year you got one coming up in a month or two. And it's going to kick off right down the road from me in Joliet. So I'm hoping to get out to see you. The band's pretty psyched about it?
Yeah. I've listened to Chimera for for a bunch of years. You know, Ezra's been a fan for a long time. I'm super excited to just kind of meet them because Chimera's new guitar player, Emil Wartzler, was in a band called Doth, who were amazing, and he's seriously one of like the best guitar players out there right now. Like, just with originality and shredding.
Sure. No, I'm familiar with Doth. I didn't realize that he went to a band like Chimera's. I don't know, little different. I would think for you guys on tour.
Yeah, we're a little bit different. They're a little bit more groove metal, and we're death metal. But I think their fans will like us, and I think our fans probably already like them.
At least know who they are. Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it should be fun.
All right, cool. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Hoping I can get out and see you guys. So, We Love Metal has a standard question we typically close interviews with, and I know you've not been with the band that long, but Allegaeon as a whole has 3 albums they put out. So, what advice can you give to bands who might just be starting out and musicians who want to do this?
I've heard this from a couple people, but it's like if you approach it as a business, like sorry, I'm moving out of order. Like, you first focus on your sound, like in the beginning stages, find your sound and just try and get that as best as you can, and then go from there and look at it as a business and as a product. So go, like, every business owner, like, goes has a huge overhead at first because they have to invest so much into it.
Sure.
To start out, so invest in really good quality recordings. Like, I think Allegaeon paid $4-5 grand. I'm not sure how much, but like, so pay for really good sounding recordings because that makes you look professional. Really good artwork. Really good photos. Pretty much just spend a lot of money. Spend a lot of money to make yourself look good, and then try and go from there. I've heard it's kind of like winning the lottery if you send a CD to a label, and you get signed from that. I've heard that's like very rare.
Sure.
But like what I've heard labels want them to do is build your own following because they need something to work with. Like, if they were to sign you, that doesn't automatically get you fans. It gets you some, but you need to have something that the label can work with, and I guess,
build on. Have a base to build on. Okay, cool. So, be rich and have fans. That's
exactly.
All right. That's a great great recipe for success. All right, Mike. Hey, thanks for joining me today on Skype. Looking forward to seeing the band and more music down the road. And
awesome.
Any last words for the metal fans out there?
Elements of the Infinite out June 24th. If you like guitars and solos and not breakdowns.
No, not many of those there.
No, I think there's the first breakdown in like Allegaeon history, and it's just because like it sounded good. So, I don't know. Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, thanks again, and I hopefully will be doing a review of the album the next week or so. And
awesome.
Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, no worries.